the large aircraft, like a B-1, can carry so many missiles that it doesn't really impact when one is fired. And they can also afford to fire two, or to ripple missiles if they need to.
This sort of highly technological teamwork between multiple air assets is another key aspect of how a future air war will be waged. Before the B-1R attack, the stealthy Raptors will engage the enemy formation by firing their remaining radar-guided missiles. Not enough to take out the whole formation, but enough to sow confusion and panic. They hope this will protect the unstealthy B-1Rs from counterattack. The Raptors move in. A complete radar portrait of the enemy force is drawn from sensors all over the F-22. Even the skin of the plane itself is a sensor, called the distributed aperture system.
What that is on each of the aircraft's skin, along the wings, there's thousands of tiny little receivers, passive receivers that can take in signals intelligence. These are very good for missile warning. They give you a very good idea of what's coming at you.
The F-22s fire their remaining AMRAAMs. All that's left in their weapons bays are close-range, heat-seeking missiles. The volley tracks the enemy formation, boring in on their mark at over 2,400 miles per hour. At this speed, it takes just 7 seconds for the missiles to cover the final 5 miles to the target.
All of a sudden, the bad guy's flight starts falling apart. Everybody's scrambling, trying to get away from the missiles. Chaff, flares, whatever it takes.
Then, the Americans complete their 1-2 punch. Like a team of Special Forces soldiers deep in enemy territory, the F-22s, still undetected, relay targeting coordinates to the B-1Rs via a secure broadband data link. They ripple fire missile after missile from the AMRAAM's maximum effective range of 120 miles. It's a 21st century version of the Archer's fusillade in medieval combat. Missile warning radar in the enemy cockpits once again raises the alarm, but to no avail. The enemy is too disorganized from the Raptor attack to effectively counter. The chaos among the enemy ranks perfectly illustrates the stunning advantage of high technology in a dogfight of the future.
Can you imagine what that would do to a command and control cycle when all of a sudden your aircraft are disappearing from missile shots and you have no idea where the targeting is coming from?
In just a few moments, it's every man for himself. Radio chatter is intense as the enemy tries to determine who is alive and who is dead. But among the confused and scattered formation, a handful of pilots flying French Rafales managed to survive the storm of AMRAAMs from the B-1Rs. Here's how.
In order to defeat a missile that's been launched on you, first of all, you've got to know it's coming. So you've got to have a good radar warning system that's going to let you know, A, you're locked on, and B, there's been missile launch at you.
The AMRAAMs fired by the B-1R use Doppler shift in the radar returns to calculate path of travel, speed, and distance to a target. For the Rafales, survival depends on understanding this and knowing how to overload the missile's tracking system. The enemy pilots survived by breaking into the AMRAAM, perpendicular to the missile's flight path. Then they released chaff, strips of aluminum that reflect radar energy.
If you go past 90, 110, 120 degrees and dive for the deck, there is not a missile that is going to be able to track you down.
The 6 remaining Rafale fighters now move against the distant B-1Rs, the only target their radars can find. A volley of missiles roar past Mach 3 in pursuit of the B-1s. This moment in the dogfight demonstrates just how vulnerable an unstealthy Generation 4 aircraft will be in a future air war. The aircraft is damaged, but not knocked out. The B-1 pilots go full throttle with a top speed over Mach 2. They're fast, but not fast enough to outrun a Rafale in full afterburner. Their hopes rest on the dogfighting prowess of the F-22s, who move in to engage the enemy within visual range. This battle will be decided up close and personal, with the F-22s in full sight of the enemy.
There we go. Yeah, right there on the bottom of the screen.
That's just weird. That's very weird.
It is the year 2016. In a hypothetical scenario, 2 American B-1Rs were just attacked by enemy Rafales. Now it's up to a flight of F-22 Raptors to intercept the Rafales before the B-1s are lost. It's 4 F-22s versus 6 Rafales. The Dassault Rafale, with a top speed of Mach 2, is a formidable foe. Though it is not stealth, the Rafale possesses a reduced radar cross-section, the details of which remain classified. With no long-range missiles left, the Raptors will be forced to move within visual range. It's a scenario that has been repeatedly declared extinct.
Especially when you talk to the defense contractors today, because they are always talking about the importance of sensors and systems and avionics and how we've really gotten beyond the dogfight. And it's always turned out that we do get back into these close-in conflicts where you're going to be eye-to-eye with the opponent.
It's not going to change. I mean, in line of sight can be at 500 miles or it can be 100 yards, depending on the circumstances of the engagement. The other guy can just get lucky and get in close. In which case, the F-22 Raptors have to show how well it can maneuver.
The Raptors assign targets.
I'm going to go to the merge and I'm going to get the job done. Now, like I said, if I can't shoot BVR, then I've got to go within visual range to get the job done.
In seconds, one of the Raptor pilots spots a glint of metal on the horizon. The Rafale breaks into him. Within visual range, stealth no longer hides the Raptor. They speed towards the merge, roaring past each other at over Mach 1. Just like dogfighters of years past, these 21st century pilots turn into each other to initiate combat. But unlike previous generations, the F-22's onboard computer is actually monitoring how the maneuvering is stressing the aircraft.
If I'm asking the jet to do something, the computer decides that it would overstress the airframe, it won't let me do it. And as a team, the jet will not prevent you from over-G the aircraft. The F-22 will prevent me from overstressing the airframe to ensure the long-term health of the airframe.
Finally, the F-22 gains lock and fires. The Rafale dives and brakes, releasing flares to draw off the missile. This engagement is over. But 3 miles away, another Raptor battle is just beginning. He's locked in a vicious circling fight with another Rafale. This F-22 pilot uses an advanced